Hey everybody, it's me, Derek DC Phillips, bringing you all things frightful. And in this video, I have a brief book review for you. I was recently contacted by Black Beacon Books to review some of their books, and I was given a few titles to choose from. Now, The Tunnel Runner really stood out to me. It seemed like it would be up my alley. Tunnel, alley, get it? Now, this book opens up by introducing us to a couple, Ripley and Gabriella, and Gabriella's intrigued because pretty much nightly she notices that there's a shadowy figure outside their apartment building who opens up a manhole cover, pushes it aside, and slips down into the tunnels below. If Gabriella were any normal person, she might call the cops, she might choose to mind her own business, but Gabriella is incredibly nosy, and I have to be honest with you, she felt a bit one-dimensional to me at first. She was very much giving us damsel in distress. For some reason, this situation was really bothering her, and by the time we actually meet Gabriella and Ripley, she's apparently bugged Ripley so much about this man slipping down into the sewer that Ripley decides he has to go down there and figure out what's going on to impress her. He has a very macho attitude. I'll admit that was also a bit off-putting there for a minute. I had to kind of roll my eyes. He goes through this whole spiel about protecting his girl. I felt like I needed a bit more here. I needed to know a little bit more about Gabriella and why she felt so compelled to find out what was going on. But you know what? I suspended my disbelief for a bit, and it was all good. I do feel like there might be some kind of underlying allegory here for marriage, for gender norms and gender roles. Maybe I just need to sit with it a bit longer. Things hit the fan when they do decide to go underground and start exploring. They meet some tunnel dwellers, and this is really where the suspense kicks in. In addition to our gender norms, we start to explore societal norms and some themes of what's good for society. Are actions justified if they do benefit a larger community? We also see themes of wealth versus poverty. It was a little bit of a shock to the system when about halfway through the book we transition sets of characters over to a very wealthy family. I got fairly quickly where the author was going with that. A bit of a heads up if you're not expecting it is a little out of left field, but you figure out why. There's a disparity, obviously, between the people who live above ground and the people who live below ground. No spoilers here, but I will say that at that halfway point, there were some character decisions and some sort of side plot lines I hadn't expected that really got me invested in what was going on. All of this builds up to a climax that feels cinematic. Again, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief that has to kick in here, but hey, that's fiction, right? If you're into sort of dystopian suspense, especially with the new Hunger Games installment out, I think you'll like this. It definitely pulls in some familiar tropes in a unique and interesting way.